Resourceful Designer, episode 210, Extra Income for Illustrators.
Welcome to the Resourceful Designer Podcast, offering solutions to streamline your graphic and web design business so you can get back to designing. And now, your host. He's a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll, but he's mostly 80s hard rock. Mark Descote.
Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about using your creative skills to earn extra income doing more than just client work. I'm also going to share a resource to help get your business ready for when this whole pandemic thing is over and we see an influx of new entrepreneurs looking for your services. Now, what have I been up to? It's pretty much same old, same old. I've been hunkered down just like you, staying at home, doing my self-isolation bit while we're in the middle of this whole coronavirus thing. If you're listening to this in the future, I hope everything turned out well for you. It seems it's funny. I'm actually more focused on work this week than I have in the past. I'm getting a lot of stuff done. I'm more focused. I'm not distracted as much, and I don't know what it is. I've been working on a couple of websites, some social media branding for a client, a couple of podcast cover arts. I'm even doing a bookmark for another client. A lot of fun. I'm also doing some other stuff just around the house. I dusted off. I went through our storage area and dug out our old food dehydrator, and I'm making some beef jerky. It's actually in the kitchen right now, dehydrating. I'm going to try it out tonight, see how that turns out, but I hadn't done that in years. So it's just one of those things in isolation. I thought, now's a good time, let's do this. And that's pretty well all I've been up to this week. I haven't left the house. I didn't even go out and do groceries. My wife and my daughter went out each at some point to go do stuff, but I didn't. So I've been home since the last time I talked to you. So I'm sure, just like many of you, that's pretty well the life we're living right now. Now, I'll tell you one thing that hasn't been same old, and that's the Resourceful Designer Community. There is so much stuff going on in there. We had a mastermind meeting last week that went really well. We're still doing our Monday morning kickoff meetings that seem to be a hit so far amongst the community. A lot of talk. I know I'm the only Canadian in the group, so there's a lot of talk going on right now in aid efforts for those of you in the US, whether they're sole proprietors or S-corps or LLCs or whatever. There's been a new channel in the Slack group for the community just for discussing all the financial aid packages and different things available around the COVID-19 virus. And it seems everybody's helping him out, giving him pointers, how to fill out the forms, where to find the forms and that. So it's really nice to see. Of course, I can't partake in any of that because I'm in Canada. My things are completely different up here, but it's nice to see the community coming together to help each other that way. Now, I would love to have you as part of the community, and I'm sure the other community members would love to have you in there as well. If you're interested in joining and becoming part of a great mentorship group that really looks out for each other, then head on over to resourcefuldesigner.com/community and join today. And now, this week's resource of the week. And this week's resource, I'm going to rehash my very own 4-week marketing boost. Now, if you don't know what this is, it's an ebook that I put together that is absolutely free that will help you position yourself, position your design business in a way to create the best first impression possible. Now, as I mentioned in my intro, there's going to be an influx of new entrepreneurs. If you listen to the last episode of the podcast, I discussed how a lot of people that are losing their jobs right now, instead of finding new employment, are going to start their own businesses, and they are going to need the help of designers. And when they go looking, you want to make the best first impression you can so that they think you're the person they should be dealing with. And that's where my 4-week marketing boost comes in. I called it the 4-week marketing boost because there's 20 steps to it, and each step takes about 20 to 30 minutes to complete. And I have it set up so that every morning you could do one step, or you do them at your own pace. I just divided it up amongst 20 steps, so across 4 weeks. And at the end of those 4 weeks, you will be in a much better position to create the best first impression you can. Now, if you don't already have your copy of the 4-week marketing boost, head on over to marketingboost.net where you can get yours. Or if you are in the US, text the word marketing boost, that's all one word, to 44222. And get your copy today. And now, extra income for illustrators. And of course, those of us who can't draw as well. Today's episode was actually inspired by a conversation I had with Andrew, who is a member of the Resourceful Designer Community. Andrew is a very talented illustrator, along with being a very good designer. He's illustrated all sorts of things for his clients, such as murals to small cards and everything in between. He's also published his own children's book, where he wrote and illustrated. The book's called Heyward the Horse. And in this book, children follow along with Heyward, a carriage horse from Charleston, South Carolina, as he takes them on an illustrated tour of local landmarks. If you're curious about the book, you can find it at heywardthehorse.com, and I'll include a link in the show notes to get there. So Andrew and I were talking about other ways that he could use his illustration skills to make money. And after that conversation, I started thinking, Andrew is obviously not the only designer out there that also has illustration skills. In fact, a lot of designers have illustration skills. I wish I did. I don't. I'm not an illustrator. I don't have very good illustration skills, and I wish I did. But for those of you out there, I was thinking, why not use the discussion, the conversation that I had with Andrew as a starting point for a podcast episode and help more than just him? Now, again, just to preface, you do not need to be an illustrator to benefit from what I'm talking about here. As I mentioned, I'm not an illustrator, and yet I have actually generated a decent amount of passive income over the years by putting my design talents to use on things other than client work. So this can work for you, even if you are not an illustrator. Now, I just want to put out a quick disclaimer here, and that is that these are not ways to earn a quick buck. If you are desperate and you need money right now, this is not the way to do it. Now, I suppose you could be, extremely lucky, and maybe one of these methods will get you noticed and you'll get hired to do some big, high-paying job. That is possible. But the point of all of this, everything I'm sharing today, is to put things into motion with the goal of generating a form of recurring income, passive income, that will pay back down the road. It might be a year from now, or it might even be 10 years from now. There's no way of knowing. But the idea is to start now so that later this money will be coming in on a regular basis without you having to do anything. Okay, so here goes. I have always believed that a creative person like you will never lack for work. And that's because there will always be some way for a creative person to make money. As a graphic and/or a web designer, your main focus, of course, is to earn money by completing projects for clients. And that is the way to grow your design business. But there are numerous other ways that you can also make money with your skills, whether that's illustration skills, design skills, or web skills. I've put my own web design skills and have built several affiliate websites that bring me a little bit of income every month. They just sit there and they earn me money. And although I'm not an illustrator, as I mentioned earlier, I have put my design skills to similar use, and I'm going to get more into that. But we're living in an unprecedented age for creative people. There are more opportunities for you as a creative person to earn money now than there has ever been throughout history. Take Etsy, for example. Etsy started, I believe it was 15 years ago, or somewhere around 2005 they started. Before Etsy, a craftsperson was limited to selling their wares in local bazaars or craft shows, or that was it. Now, someone can set up an Etsy store and reach clients around the globe. And that's the power that we have today, is no matter what your creative niche, you can reach people around the globe. Now, of course, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I want to break down some of the ways that you can actually use your creative skills to earn extra income. The obvious one, besides doing client work, is to place yourself on what I call talent marketplaces. And I'm talking about places such as Fiverr or Upwork or TopTal or any of these other platforms. Now, I'm not a fan of these services, especially to sell your design services. I would actually say don't advertise yourself as a designer on these platforms. However, if you are an illustrator, then I say get on there today if you're not already. Because unlike design, which people can steal on that, it's pretty hard to fake illustration skills. Now, there are so many people searching on these platforms. I'm talking Fiverr, Upwork, TopTal, all those others, searching for illustrators for both small projects and large projects. So why not include yourself in the pool of talent available? Now, some people may think, well, I charge enough for my illustration. I'm not going to go on Fiverr and charge $5. Well, you don't have to charge $5. Fiverr started off as a platform where you were paying $5 to get stuff done. But nowadays, you have all sorts of options for charging higher rates. So you can set your prices to whatever you want on Fiverr. If you don't want to charge $5, don't charge $5. Charge $25, charge $50, charge $100, whatever you want. Even if it's higher than anyone else. The thing is even if your price is high, if someone really likes your style, they may be willing to pay more for it. I've done that myself. I have hired illustrators off of Fiverr, and I've found illustrators that would do something for $5, $10, but I preferred the samples. When you look at the sample portfolio, I preferred the sample of some other designers that were charging $40, $50, and I willingly paid more because I liked their style better than the cheaper ones. Even though there was nothing wrong, the cheaper ones were very talented. It was just the style was slightly different, and I wanted the other one and was willing to pay more for. And if I will do it, so will others. If someone really likes what they see in your work, they will be willing to pay more for it. But if you're not on those platforms, if you're not on Fiverr, if you're not on Upwork or any of the others, there is zero chance of them hiring you when they're there looking for an illustrator. So you never know. You set up an account, you might get your first gig within a couple of days, or it might take a couple of months to get your first gig. But the thing is you will never get any if you're not on the platform. So set up an account. Even if you set your prices high, you never know when somebody may find you through there. Now, the next way that you can earn money is through stock image sites. You digitize your illustrations, you upload them to a stock image site, and you make money off of them. I have a longtime friend of mine. He's a fellow designer. I've known him for many, many, many years. And he has been doing this for almost as long as I've known him. Now, I haven't talked to him about this part of his business in quite a while. But the last time I did, he told me that he had hundreds, if not already thousands, of illustrations uploaded to all the various stock image sites. And he was making a steady monthly income from these. And yes, he admits, and I know from looking into them, that you don't make a lot of money on every sale. In some cases, you're only making maybe $1 or $2. If that, some cases, you might only be making pennies on a sale. But those sales accumulate over time and over many, many sales. You see, stock image sites are let's call it a one and done platform, meaning you create something, you upload it to the platform, and then you forget about it. You don't have to worry about that ever again, except for collecting money whenever it does sell, if it does. So you upload it, forget about it, and then you move on to create your next illustration. And yes, some of the things you will put up there might never sell, while others will sell on a regular basis and start a steady income for you. It's the whole diversification thing. Just like if you're investing in the stock market, they always say never put all your money in one thing. You should be investing across multiple things, because that way, if one of them has a good return, the other one might not. And in the end, the idea is across all your platforms, you're trying to make a positive impact. Well, it's the same thing with these stock images. You may upload 10, 20, 50, 100, 200 images. Some of them will never sell, but others will sell really well. And the thing is when you average everything out, you need to be in the positive. You're going to have more sales than you have actually images up there. And it's not that hard to do, especially if you are a talented illustrator. And the more images you upload, the better your chances of a good monthly payout. And if you add in compounding by uploading the same image, you can have that one image, you design it, and then you upload it to the various stock sites. And I don't even know how many stock sites. There's dozens and dozens of stock sites up there. You create accounts on all of them. You upload that one image to all the sites, copy the same description, the same keywords and everything. And now you've just multiplied, you've compounded your return on that one piece, which means that you have access to a much wider audience, a much bigger market that will now see your work. Now, some of these sites do offer exclusivity, meaning that you can earn a much higher percentage of the sale if you only upload to that one platform. For example, and I'm just making up numbers here. These are not the numbers from any site, but say, for example, that you might earn 40% of a sale on this one site if it's the only site that has that image. But if you have that image uploaded at a whole bunch of sites, you may only earn 4% of the sale instead of 40. So it's entirely up to you once you've uploaded to these sites to determine if the higher percentage on only one site, if you're exclusive to that one site, are you better off with that? Or are you better off collecting a much smaller percentage but having that image spread out across dozens of sites? And sometimes that might be more profitable. But I know from talking to other designers who do this, my friend and others included, they can make some really good money by doing this. And of course, the more illustrations you have, the more images on these sites, the better your chances. And the money just keeps compounding. Every month you get a little bit more because there's more and more sales, you've got more products available, and it's just the laws of business. Now, similar to a stock image site, you can also showcase your work and sell products on digital marketplaces, places such as Creative Market or Design Cuts, and there's many others. Many designers, including a lot in the Facebook group, the Resourceful Designer Facebook group, which, by the way, if you're not a member, resourcefuldesigner.com/group will send you there where you can join up. Be sure to answer my 3 questions or else I won't let you in. But I've seen from the past that many designers in the Resourceful Designer group do sell stuff on Creative Market and Design Cuts and all that, and they make a good profit every month on those. Now, these platforms are great. Say if you want to try your hand at creating a font and selling a font, these are great platforms to get that font out to the market. Photoshop, Illustrator, Procreate Brushes. Procreate Brushes are really popular right now from what I hear. If you can create a good bundle of brushes, they will sell very well also. And if you're an illustrator, stuff like scene builders are huge on these platforms. Now, what I mean by scene builder is, for example, let's say you want to create a playground scene builder. You start off by illustrating a typical background. So maybe a nice grass, some trees, a little bit of hills, and who knows. And then you create separate illustrations for each individual element that might be on a playground. So you'll create an illustration of a swing, a teeter-totter, a sandbox, monkey bars, maybe some trees, maybe a dog chasing a ball, some kids playing, etc., etc. And all of these separate illustrations, then when somebody buys this bundle or package, they can take these and create the scene they want. So they can put the swing wherever they want. They can put the kids playing where they want. They can put the sandbox, the dog playing, the trees, and all of these things however they want and build the scene that they want of a playground. And you can do these for all sorts of things. You can do camping bundles or an urban bundle where you have buildings and all that, maybe a garden bundle. Any sort of scene builder bundles sell really well. And it's just a matter of drawing individual things, uploading them as one big package, and that people can play with. Now, I mentioned bundles. Bundles are another great way to do stuff, not just scene builders, but just bundles overall. For example, say you're good at illustrating animals. You may want to create a forest animal bundle, or a farm animal bundle, or a cute animal bundle, or whatever. Lisa Glanz, one of the designers and host of the Honest Designers podcast, makes a living out of creating little bunnies and bears and cute little things and selling them. She creates these packages. She creates these scene builders. She creates bundles of cute little animals. And she has stopped doing client work because she is focused solely on this sort of thing now and is making a living off of it. But some of these bundles that I'm talking about, you create a farm animal bundle. So you have maybe 2 or 3 illustrations of a pig in different poses, of a cow, of a horse, of a duck, of a rooster, of a chicken, whatever, a donkey. You create different poses for each one, and you put them all together in a bundle, and you sell them that way. Floral bundles are another great seller. I've personally bought several floral bundles. I've had plenty of clients that have wanted stuff done with flowers or wreaths. Wreaths was another one, especially wreath builders, where they give you kind of a base vine wreath, and then you get to pick flowers or put flowers on it and place them however you want, change the colors on them and all that. Those sort of things sell really well. So if you enjoy illustrating any of these things, or forget if you enjoy, whatever you enjoy illustrating, whether it's flowers, whether it's cute animals, whether it's cars, whether it's boats, whatever you enjoy illustrating, find a way to turn it into some sort of product that you can sell on one of these marketplaces. And if you're not an illustrator, you can still sell on these marketplaces. I mentioned fonts earlier. If you want to give your hand at creating a font, I've always wanted to do that, but I know there's a little bit of a learning curve in figuring it out, and I've never had the time. But designers can create brochure templates. Creative Market has tons of brochure templates that people can just download and use as a starting point for their own project. Brochure templates, business card templates, logo templates. There are tons of those for sale, and people are making a living off of that. Now, if you want to know more about this, I did have Tom Ross, who is the founder of Design Cuts. He was on the podcast as a guest back in episode 155. Where we talked about selling digital projects to supplement your design income. So go back and listen to that one if you're interested in this topic. That's episode 155 at resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 155. Now, the last one I want to talk about is print-on-demand services. And this is actually the one that I use to make my extra income. Yes, I have a few affiliate sites that I use, but for the most part, my extra passive income, if you want to call it that, comes from print-on-demand sources. Now, print-on-demand services allow you to upload your own design and then sell it to anybody on merchandise. It's placed in the marketplaces for these various services, and you can sell it. Now, yes, I'm not going to get into Etsy. There's ways you can do the same thing on Etsy. I'm talking about these print-on-demand services where you can sell things like t-shirts and mugs and phone cases, stickers. Stickers are huge. I make a ton of money every month on stickers. Pillows, spandex-style leggings that women really like to wear with prints and all sorts of stuff on them. There are tons of them being sold with all sorts of fancy patterns and prints on them. Notebooks, wall art, and so much more. Print on demand has come a long way from when it was just mugs and t-shirts. And the thing is you don't have to be an illustrator to make money on these platforms. Anything that's well-designed, some well-designed image, or even just a well-typewritten saying can also sell very well. I have merchandise for sale on several of these platforms, and I earn a couple of $100 every month. And some of them are designs like logos for certain things that I've created. Others are just sayings that I just took a nice font, typed out a nice saying, stuck it on a t-shirt or a mug, and people are buying it. Now, I just want to note something here. If you're going to include any typography on any design that you upload to these platforms, please make sure to read the license for that font and make sure that it includes commercial use. That's why I love using Design Cuts for fonts, because I know that all fonts sold on Design Cuts include the commercial license. That means you are allowed to use that font on merchandise that you will then sell to make money off of. If you don't have the commercial rights to a font, you cannot sell something that has that font on it. You can use the font usually for client work and sell it to a client, but you can't actually put it on merchandise for sale. So I just wanted to put that out there. Make sure whatever fonts you use, if you do use fonts, you do have the commercial use for them. Now, if you're not sure what sort of thing to design or to illustrate, have you ever considered fan merchandise? This is actually how I got into it. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I started podcasting in 2013 as a television show fan podcaster. The very first podcast I ever did was for a television show called Under the Dome on CBS in the US and Canada. And when I started podcasting there, I designed some t-shirts for Under the Dome and stuck them on various platforms. And even to this day, Under the Dome hasn't aired. It's been, I think the last season was 2015. So 5 years ago. And yet I still sell Under the Dome merchandise on some of these platforms. And I've created other things for other TV shows, Orphan Black, Killjoys, as well as other things, just podcast related. I've created a whole bunch of different designs that I have uploaded to these platforms, and I make money off of them. But platforms such as Redbubble, Cafe Press is a good one, Zazzle, and I haven't even looked at any of the other ones to see. They have license agreements with certain entertainment properties that allow you to design and to sell merchandise without infringing on intellectual property. Meaning you are allowed to design stuff for popular movie and television show franchises. I just took a look through the list. Cafe Press, I'll include links to Cafe Press, Redbubble, and Zazzle's pages that list who you can design for. But here's just some from Cafe Press. Movie-wise, and this is just a small, I'll only give you a handful here. Think around Christmas time. You can design stuff for A Christmas Story or Elf. You know how popular that movie is with Will Ferrell, Elf? Imagine you can design any sort of t-shirt you want that is Elf related, the movie that has anything to do with the movie. Dumb and Dumber, Matrix, any of the National Lampoon Vacation movies, Christmas Vacation, European Vacation, or Las Vegas Vacation, The Exorcist, any of the Hangover movies, or what about Wizard of Oz? You can design anything with Wizard of Oz related, whether it's funny, whether it's serious, whatever you do. You are allowed to design something in the Wizard of Oz world and sell it on Cafe Press. TV shows, The Amazing Race, Big Bang Theory, Blackish, Breaking Bad, Flintstones, How I Met Your Mother, and also some super popular one, Friends. Did you know that you can design any t-shirt you want for Friends and sell it on this platform legally? Grey's Anatomy, Westworld, both Grey's Anatomy and Westworld are shows airing right now. You can design stuff for those shows and sell them on these platforms. Star Trek. If you're a Star Trek fan, you can design Star Trek merchandise and actually legally sell it on these platforms. Now, please check these platforms. They do have some regulations, like I didn't get into them, but there are some rules you have to follow. Like, I don't think you can just use a photograph of Leonard Nimoy and stick him on a t-shirt and say, live long and prosper, and that's it. There's certain things you're not allowed to do, but for most part, you can do whatever you want in any of these worlds. And that's not counting, those are just TV and movies. You can also legally design stuff for the US Air Force, the US Marine Corps, the US Army, or the US Navy and sell it on these platforms. So if you're looking for something to illustrate or to design and sell, and you look through these lists, maybe you may find some program or movie or something that you really enjoy and you would love designing for. I designed a whole bunch of stuff for Orphan Black when I was podcasting about that television show. And even to this day, I still sell stuff for Orphan Black fans. So be creative in your thinking. There are so many avenues for an illustrator or for a designer to make money other than working for clients. And I'm just touching at the tip of the iceberg here. There are so many others that we could get into. I mentioned Etsy, but I never really got into talking about that because I really don't know anything about Etsy. I just know it's there and creative people do use it. And there are many, many other platforms as well. But keep in mind that, as I said at the beginning, this is a long game. You probably won't make a bunch of money this week or this month or possibly for months to come. The reason you get into this is for down the road. This works because of compounding. You start off slow. Maybe you're uploading maybe 1 or 2 designs a month, or hopefully more than that, maybe 1 or 2 designs a week. You upload them. And over time, if you're persistent, you'll end up with lots and lots of designs that bring you money on a regular basis. I know when I got onto Merch by Amazon, I was uploading 1 design per day. And then what allowed me, I was trying to upload more. Now I have a couple of 100 designs on Merch by Amazon. I haven't uploaded anything in a long time. I think I'm allowed right now up to 1,000 designs. If I think, I haven't actually checked, I think I'm at 270 some designs that I have uploaded on Merch by Amazon. But the more you have, the easier it is for you to make money because the more products you have that people can find. And, in hindsight, I really should start adding some more things. I've had ideas over the past months and so of t-shirts and other things I can do, but I never got around to doing them. So maybe I really should start adding some new ones to these platforms. But even though it's been a long time since I have, I still keep getting money from them every month. Sure, it's only $20 from this platform and $30 from that platform. But when you add all of them up together, it's a good chunk of money. I'm making enough money every month from those sales when I add everything up to cover both my and my wife's car loan payment. How would you like to have your car loan payment covered every month? Or your rent, or your mortgage? Or how about extra money put aside for vacation or to put away for your child's school fund. Money that just comes in without you having to do anything. Now, yes, I know of the saying, you need money in order to make money. And in most cases, that is true. However, for everything that I've talked about today, there's no monetary investment. The only investment you have to make is your time. And if you're willing to put in a little bit of time now, it can pay off tenfold in the future. It doesn't matter if you're used to being paid hundreds or even thousands of dollars for the work you do for your design clients. There's something super satisfying when you see that first dollar come in because some random person that you've never met somewhere in the world purchased something that you created and uploaded to one of these platforms. I remember when I first started, I was checking on a regular basis, and every time I'd make a sale and I'd make $1 or $2, I was so excited, even though I knew that I can easily be spending my time designing something for someone and making a lot more. There's just a different satisfaction to the whole thing. And compound that over years of having those things up there, I have probably made more money off those designs than I would have if I had spent the time that I created those designs, if I had spent that time working on client work. So in the long run, it actually did pay off. But when that feeling of satisfaction from your first sale, that $1 that came in, when you see that, you know that you've got something good going. Because if one random person somewhere in the world thought that whatever you designed was good enough for them to spend money on, then there must be a lot of other people out there willing to spend money on your stuff as well. And that's a feeling that should encourage you to keep on producing, keep on uploading, and keep on earning. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be able to retire and live solely off this passive income that you've created. So that's what I wanted to talk about. A little bit of encouragement, a little bit of a push to help you. There are so many designers right now during this COVID-19 crisis that are worried about their business. They're worried about their next paycheck. They're worried about money coming in. Well, the thing is setting up this sort of thing may help you the next time something like this happens and work dies down. It would be really nice to know that your car loan payment is already taken care of. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Now, I would love to hear from you how you use these platforms. Are you doing anything to create passive income for yourself? Please leave a message by visiting resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 210. So that's it for this week's episode. I want to remind you one more time of the 4-week marketing boost. Create the best first impression you can for all those new entrepreneurs that are going to be springing up after this crisis is over that are looking for designers. You want them to look at your stuff and say, hey, this is the person I want to work with. Get your copy of the 4-week marketing boost by visiting marketingboost.net. Or if you are in the USA, you can text the word marketing boost, that's all one word, no spaces, to 44222. And I would love to have you as a member of the Resourceful Designer Community. You want to be part of a small, tight-knit group of designers who are really looking out for each other, supporting each other, and just overall having a great time. Visit resourcefuldesigner.com/community and join today. Until next week, I am Mark Decote, wishing you all the best with your graphic design business. And as always, reminding you to stay creative.
Thanks for listening to the Resourceful Designer Podcast at resourcefuldesigner.com.